So today I thought I would share with you guys my Hobonichi Techo for 2019 since it is the end of March and I did not get this video out in February. There's just been so much stuff happening in our house. Primarily getting sick is the biggest one probably, where my kids have been getting sick left and right, and I have actually gotten sick as well, to the point where I was actually bedridden at certain points. So I've been in this low point in my life probably this year. It is also supposed to be my bad luck year according to the Japanese traditional temples, shrines kind of thing. It's one of those things we call the yakudoshi, and I have my bad luck year this year. Last year was the precursor, and then we're gonna have an after year as well. So hopefully I don't get too sick this year, but I can't really tell. I'm kind of getting sick once more, so yeah, it just sucks. With that being said, let me introduce you guys to my 2019 Hobonichi Techo, which is this one right here. It is a dolphin blue with a forest COC, because this was the better option for me, even though the one that I really wanted was the one that was the Liberty print, and that happened to be a zipper cover. So zipper covers tend to be out of the question for me due to the fact that it doesn't have too much it's not very forgiving if your Hobonichi ends up being chunky, and I didn't really want to risk not being able to utilize it to its full potential. So I kind of stayed away from it for this year, and we're going to see if I can actually downsize my Techo even smaller. Then I might start to consider zippers the following year if there's something that I like, I guess. So let's just talk a little bit about what it looks like on the inside of this particular Techo. So in terms of setting it up, it's pretty simplistic. This part is where a lot of stickers that my children give me kind of get accumulated over time, and it kind of expresses what my kids liked at that certain time period. So I think it's definitely a way for me to just kind of keep as a keepsake, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I can expect to see probably a couple of Power Ranger stickers, a couple of Kamen Rider. I might actually see Disney princesses this year because my youngest is so infatuated with them, but I don't really know. I'm not trying to raise my kid gender biased, so, you know, I let them have what they want, so we'll see what ends up, but it'll be an interesting thing to see. Following this, we do have the yearly section, and the yearly section is not really going to change in terms of how I'm utilizing it. It's always been more of an index. However, I have been trying to figure out the best balance for it. In the past, I've actually written pretty much every day, and then I kind of burned out towards the end. I also wrote down birthdays, just birthdays at one point, and it didn't really work out. I wasn't really looking into it, so I really wanted to make it into a page that I knew I would flip to occasionally, and the medium that I found was just to make it into a index for my daily pages. And I only write down the things that are highlights. So if there are exhibits that we go to, performances that we go to, if we go to trips, they'll all be pretty much written right here. Birthdays and etc. will also be written here. So anything out of the average day for me, it'll be written right here. And then on the bottom part, I don't really do this by the particular month, because if I did, I don't have too much stuff because I'm a pretty boring person. So what we have is a section for birthdays for the whole year. Since there's not a lot of people I care for birthdays, honestly, I'm a hermit. I don't really celebrate that many birthdays, so we're gonna put a couple of birthdays in here, and a couple of anniversaries here, a couple of school-related holidays, since my eldest actually goes to them quite often here, and then in the special day we'll just write about events or trips that we've probably planned right here. So that's what's going to happen on at least this section. I don't really know what I'm going to do for the latter half, but we'll just try to figure it out as we go along. Moving away from this, we have the monthly section. The monthly section is going through a huge change this particular year. In the previous years, this used to be basically a repeat of my yearly section, so I kind of fell out of the habit of writing it. The only thing that was different between the yearly part and the monthly part was that the monthly part was a little bit more in detail. So it would just be kind of like a schedule of things that have passed, and I wasn't really thinking straight, I guess. I just didn't find it as something I really needed to do, and I kept falling out of it after the first 2 months, so I really wanted to keep it up this year. And one thing I did actually manage to keep up last year that I really enjoyed was the clothing log. So I moved it over into the Hobonichi Techo, since I'm not using the multi-listy one that I actually originally did this in, and I'm pretty content with it. So basically how I work my clothing log is that I will write down or draw out the outfit that I wore at the very beginning of the day, since I do actually change my clothing midday occasionally due to the fact that they get muddy from my eldest's kindergarten. So it's just written, like the first outfit that I wear at the beginning of the day is the thing that's written here. And then anything I buy that particular month, I will actually put it in this side area right here. And anything that I decide to let go of, they will all be listed in the bottom. And I do give it a little bit of color so that I know what color schemes I'm wearing a lot of and which color schemes I might be missing from my closet if in the case I want to buy more clothing. And after looking at this, I noticed I had a lot of blue, and this blue is kind of broad technically because it could be light blue to dark blue. Unfortunately, the colors that I'm using doesn't really have a dark blue, and that's the main reason why everything looks like it's a light blue color. It's not. Some of them are actually a little bit on the teal side. Some of them are definitely like a navy black, navy coat. Like this one is supposed to be navy, but I don't have a navy colored pastel, so we just had to go with whatever blue I had, and it definitely needs a little bit of improvement, but it just kind of gives me the general color scheme of the outfits that I have. So it kind of kept on going in March as well. And as you can see, there's more things that I've actually thrown out this particular month, and then we've got more new things. And when I do write down new things, one thing I like to do is actually write down the price tag of the said items. And the reason why I like to do this is that I like to make sure that my clothing gets a certain amount of wear before I throw it out. And I know throwing out clothing might be a little bit wasteful, but as I've said, my eldest's kindergarten is very, very muddy. And no matter how well I wash it, there's going to be these dirt stains that don't come off, and then they accumulate, and I look really ragged, and I don't like it. So right now I do have to kind of lean towards the fast fashion. I can't really buy the super expensive nice clothing that will last forever because they're going to get ruined. And yeah, so I'm just kind of staying to the low budget ones, but I do want to make sure I get a certain amount of wear. I want to wear my outfit until they're maybe like each wear has been about 200 yen. So, you know, I'd at least wear the same thing at least 10 times before, you know, considering it for even throwing it out. And if I wear something over maybe say 30 to 40 times, I'll just start to check a little bit more often regarding those little dust bunnies that can accumulate on clothing that is made very cheap. So yeah, it's just a very nice guideline for me to just visualize what outfits I've been wearing a lot of and which ones are probably my favorite. And in March, I don't think I've actually had a set outfit that I absolutely adored. I think I'm wearing my denim shorts quite a bit, but I don't think I'm actually throwing out the denim shorts as well. So I don't know. I do have to start to check my denim shorts though, because these are probably 3 to 4 years old, and as much as I like them, they're pants, so eventually they're going to get a hole in a place where I probably don't want it to. So it just kind of gives me an idea that, yeah, I should be checking my outfit, making sure that it doesn't have too much damage on it. And then when it comes to tops, I have a couple of sweaters of many sorts, so I can just kind of make sure which ones I'm wearing a lot of. I like to wear the dolman knit quite a bit, and I've been wearing this GU cocoon sweater quite a bit as well because it is so very comfy. So, you know, I just kind of get an idea of what I like, what I don't like as well. And occasionally if I go into my closet, I can make sure that the outfits that I have been wearing are the ones in there, and if there are outfits that I haven't really been wearing, I can actually throw them out. So yeah, it's definitely a useful tool for me, and I want to continue on doing this for the rest of the year. Moving away from the monthlies, we have the weeklies. The weekly section is actually undergoing a huge change as well. In the past, this part, the weekly part, is the part that I struggled with the most. Last year, I utilized it to downsize my collaging habits because I was collaging pretty much every day. It took up a lot of time to actually collage first off, so it did take up a lot of time. Another thing was that it was just accumulating too much. So since I had 7 pages for 7 days, and you know, I would just have like 7 pages worth of items, it was just getting to the point where the chunk was getting intolerable for me. It was fun to make it at that point, but then once I stored it inside the cabinet, I've noticed that it just took up so much space of that cabinet that if I continued to do this, I would run out of space eventually. So to just kind of get away from that concept, I just started to do downsizing by using this weekly part. So instead of having 7 pages for 7 days, I would have 2 pages for 7 days. So, you know, I would have 5 pages less of collages, and that definitely reduced the amount of chunk. And towards the end of the year, I've actually just kind of stopped collaging in general. I don't think I've actually scrapped a lot of stuff anymore. And in that sense, I definitely feel like I've improved in terms of my hoarding tendencies, and it's actually been quite useful when it comes to decluttering my house as well, but that will be for another day. And yeah, anyways, so this particular year, since I've really not been using this weekly part once more, I'm like falling out of it because I'm not collaging a lot, I decided that I would actually utilize a lot of the stickers I had lying around in my house first off. And the ones that I had a lot of were the Happy Planner ones, because Happy Planner makes like this huge sticker pack, and I had one huge pack of the fitness stickers. And since this particular year, my goal is my resolution for the year is self-care and decluttering, I thought it would be a great idea to actually follow up on this whole resolution thing. So I will talk a little bit about decluttering occasionally, and then for the most part, it will be more about self-care. So I really wanted to get fit this particular year because I've been very unhealthy, and working out for me is definitely one of those things that are a great stress reducer. I am usually cooped up with my kids, and you know, I hear them fighting all the time, and just just exercising is a way for me to just reduce the amount of stress inside my body. So I wanted to focus on that. I also wanted to learn how to eat healthy because I know that is part of self-care definitely, and when I get stressed, I tend to overeat, and this is because I don't really do a decent meal plan. So I just kind of eat whatever is at hand, and I start to eat out of control. So I really wanted to control my diet. So in that sense, I've started to also write down a little bit of my meal plans here and there, and we're going to see that. And we're also going to weigh myself every single week, even though it's going to be really cringy. I don't know when exactly I'm going to be weighing myself, but I do have a stamp of this on every single week, so we'll see maybe a little bit of a progression. I'm really hoping that I get my body fat percentage down because I am huge. I'm closer to the 30 percentile. I'm not at 30%, but I'm like very close to it, and I feel very bad about it. So I'm hoping that I can reduce my body fat percentage this year. If I can get down into like the 18 percentile, it would be wonderful, but I don't even know if that's even possible at this point. But yeah, I would like to be a little bit more healthy, and in that sense, I'm prepping myself for hopefully success. I'm hoping, and you know, I've also had the chance to utilize and kind of get rid of the stickers that I've been hoarding. So hopefully it does me good, and occasionally, again, it's not just going to be the Happy Planner stickers in here that I'm just kind of using. I'm using a lot of these washi stickers that I've also accumulated as well because I am terrible. So hopefully by the end of this year I will be with less stickers and I will be a happier person. But yes, once again, this year one of my goals is to not, like, when it comes to decluttering, is to get rid of my stationery, and the best way to get rid of stationery is to actually utilize them. So hopefully things will go well. So past the weekly part, we have the daily part, and the daily part is honestly not going to change, so I'm not really going to talk about it. We're going to move on over to the very end, which is the list section. And this is a section that I actually really struggle with every single year in terms of what I want to put in. I've never been able to successfully use these timetables. I'm still wondering why there's only one graph paper in the cousin one. I believe in the original one you guys have two, so I really don't know why we only have one in the cousin. It's always been questionable, so I have no idea how to use this, but I'm really hoping I can figure something out, and hopefully this year is the year I actually fill this up. And the problem is that the favorites kind of coincide with the timetable in terms of how I intended to use it. I was kind of considering maybe to write down the shows that I binge watch on something like Netflix, Amazon Prime, etc., etc. I was going to write down all the stuff that I kind of binge watched into a list right here, but then it kind of most of the time, since I do binge watch it, it basically means that I'm kind of enjoying it to a certain extent, so I feel like it should be in my favorite. So, you know, I'm just kind of like mixed and matched about everything, but hopefully I'll get these pages to work this year. Last year, 2018, it was completely blank, and I feel really bad about it still, so let's just hope that I actually get through these this year. But yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to the Hobonichi Tacho for 2019. I know it's pretty simplistic, but I am changing a couple of things, and hopefully I'll be able to show you guys a little bit as it goes on. And that's about it for today. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you guys kind of enjoyed my layout for 2019, and hopefully I'll show you guys a little bit of progression as it goes along.